Um, it didn't make it. The Cole Bishop Amendment did not make it into the 2017 appropriations bill. But the fact that we were in it until the bitter end into the fight is I think pretty significant. I've said this before. We kind of got the ball down right to the goal line, and we got stopped by a few folks that had weren't ready to come along, but we would never have gotten that far had everybody in this community not pulled together and put as much pressure as we did on everybody in Congress, Republicans and Democrats. And probably the most significant piece was the Democratic side of the aisle. We had more Democrats fighting for us, which is, I think, the only reason we were in the game until the bitter end. Um, so we definitely wanted to get it over the finish line. But that Monday morning, Sunday night / Monday morning, it was finalized, and we just missed the cut. So that was disappointing. But by Monday evening, if you recall, the FDA announced that it was going to be giving a 3-month extension on all of the deadlines in the deeming regulation, those deadlines that haven't yet come to pass yet. So everything after today, or in that case, last week. So the August 8 deadline and those restrictions all remain in place, of course. And the restrictions on minors remain in place, of course. But the company registration, ingredient listing, product listing, deadlines, all of those things, as well as up and through the PMTA deadlines, all have been extended by 3 months.
Okay.
And you want to know how that came about? I can tell you how that came about.
Now that even though we got a 3 months extension on a lot of this stuff, that still does not change the fact that nothing new can come to market. Correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
That's right. August 8 is still the new product prohibition date without a PMTA.
Because I know some people are probably curious about that, and I'm
Yeah.
sure my dog is going to drive me nuts. Um, I'm sure there are going to be some people that believe that, with a 3 months extension, we can still do things that we necessarily shouldn't be doing.
No, no, that doesn't. All it means is that if we were required to file uh, make certain filings with the FDA by a date specific, it's now that date plus 3 months. And it's something that came actually out of some of the lawsuits. So what happened is a few months ago, the lawyers for the Justice Department went to the lawyers that were litigating in various lawsuits. One of those lawsuits was Cyclops Vaper down in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
They have a pending suit against the FDA, and they were in the process of filing motions for summary judgment. Then there was also another lawsuit that was filed by the Cigar Association, and they were also in the process of filing their motions, I think. But what was interesting is the Justice Department came to them and said, hey, we need a little bit more time before we go ahead and respond to your motion for summary judgment. And so they gave them a little bit more time, a couple months, I think, is what they did. But this time when they came back, they's like, we're going to do a 3 month, we need an additional 3 months so the administration can take another look at what's going on with these claims. And they were willing to put in writing in the lawsuit the fact that the FDA was going to issue guidance shortly, which they did today or yesterday, saying that they were extending all of the deadlines 3 months.
Okay.
So that was a very interesting development. And frankly, it's 3 months isn't going to save us, that's for sure. But it gives us a little bit of a little bit more breathing room. And frankly, it was a nice little a nice little bump on the same day that Cole Bishop didn't get in.
Right. Now, what difference does it make that um, we have a new director of the FDA? You
I
think
think it
that's?
makes a big. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you think that's going to make a big difference for us?
I think it. I think it will. I think it will for a couple of reasons. One is you have he's a doctor, as you know. He's also somebody who I think understands our industry. He's also somebody who has spoken about the need for appropriate regulations within FDA. And I think his approach and his philosophy fit much better with the arguments that we're making in terms of how this new technology, how this new industry needs to be regulated as compared to the one size fits all, regulation that the FDA has is currently put in place.
Well, I was hoping that's what you were going to say, that this is going to be a looks like it's going to be a good thing for us. Um, oh, they're not making him abstain from vape related issues like he like was talked about before he took over. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think he's going to abstain from addressing issues. He's going to have an impact on what gets done on this issue. That's for sure.
Okay. I
Don't
didn't.
forget this affects these regulations don't just affect vapor, right? These regulations affect hookah, they affect cigars, they affect a whole variety of all the newly deemed products. So he can't. It'd be very difficult for him to recuse himself from the regulation, just as it pertains to vapor.
Okay. Now, I know a lot of people are not so much maybe in here, but I know some people are asking because there's been a hot debate in it, um,
Yeah.
in some groups I'm in. What or if anything do you know is this going to uh, affect as far as like anything about CBD oils, or because I know a lot of shops are really getting into it, thinking, okay, if I can't sell vape products, then I can still sell CBD stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole other industry that's growing, out in Colorado and Washington and other places, and it's growing pretty rapidly. But this doesn't affect the CBD. It's not nicotine. It's not derived from tobacco. So that segment of the industry has I think been unaffected by these types of regulations.
Okay. Well, just curious. 'Cause like I said, I know a lot of shops are starting to, kind of move that direction a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
and
Well, the market's going to continue to evolve. I mean, the vaping market is going to continue to go in lots of directions that have nothing to do with tobacco at all.
right.
And that's the thing. It is a new technology, and I think we're gonna this country is filled with people with lots of ingenuity and money, and they're going to find new and different uses for these products.
Yes, like fidget spinners.
Yeah, it's funny you brought that up because I just read a report today. The CBD industry is growing, and Colorado brought in a net 132 million in March this year just for marijuana sales, out of which they took about 12.5% in tax revenue.
Yeah.
I saw where they're actually giving every Colorado local college goer $1,000 scholarship.
They can afford to. I pulled up the report today, and there's they're throwing money left and right everywhere because they don't know what to do with it.
Oh, hey, you know what? More power to them. I wish Illinois would get their heads out of their asses and do something like that.
Well, I think fiscally, a lot of states are going to look at Colorado and Washington and even the compassionate use laws in California. And the war on drugs is going to subside as far as marijuana is concerned because um, everybody's got budget shortfalls right now and they love that tax money. And, you know, it's a clear cut issue as far as you got revenue shortages, you might want to legalize marijuana
Oh,
for
absolutely.
medical and recreational use because I mean, it's all about money. And bottom line is, I don't think it's as bad as some of the drugs out there. I don't use it. I do use CBD, but it's not THC. Um, they're going to run into the same thing that vaping has. CBD is it's going to get banned. It's going to get hammered by the FDA. You know, and that's all pharma-backed logic. So it's fun to watch. I mean, if you don't love politics, you're in the wrong industry, is what I say about vaping or CBD. And I've always loved politics, and you know, it's fun to watch it, and it's fun to pull here and there and push there and other places and make things happen. Because I mean, this is I think vaping has the most impactful effect on public health that we've seen in since you know, inoculations came out, and I think the potential to save lives is there, which we all know. I'm preaching to the choir, but that's why it's important to me. I think um, we owe it to this industry to pay it some attention and do what's right by it and set it up for long-term strategic success.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and I'll be the first to tell you, I'm one of them weird people. Um, I hate politics. I hate politics with a passion. I'll be honest about it. But, you know, in the beginning, when I started, you know, voicing my opinion and advocating, you know, and I mean, it started out with small things like, you know, battery safety, you know, IP infringement, things like that. You know, things I wanted things done that were good for our industry, and it steadily grew to what I'm doing now. You know, I mean, you know, every chance we get, you and I, we do a mashup. Um, you know, I've been with work and whatnot. I've been slacking a little bit, but I keep an eye on what's going on. Sometimes it almost thinks like I got dragged here against my will, but I tell you what, I wouldn't be anywhere else if I had a choice. You know, I
It
don't
does
like.
draws you in, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I can't stand politics because I mean, you know, you see all the crap going on with, oh, the president needs impeached and this, that, and the other thing, and it's like, man, I hate that. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it flying across my damn timeline every 5 minutes. People crying about why he did this. People crying about why Obama did that, and you know, it's not why I'm here. It's not why I'm on Facebook. Because honestly, if it wasn't for vaping, and if it wasn't for trying to get people all the damn information that they need, that they want, and to help people quit smoking, my ass wouldn't even be on Facebook. My ass probably wouldn't be on this show, except for I do it because I care about the people. And it's not so much,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, as much as I love everybody in the chat room right now. I mean, most of these people in the chat room right now are actually personal friends of mine. You know, Tony, Stacy, Kevin, Chupa. Oh, there's TJ. You know, Tracy. I saw her in here a minute ago. Everybody that's in the chat room is personal friends of mine. People that may be watching on Facebook. Well, it looks like Jeremy might be the only one watching on Facebook. Um, but you know, I do it because even though these people are all my friends, they're already vapors. they already made that step. It's the people that haven't made that step yet and don't know how to make that step yet. That's the reason I'm here and I'm still fighting and doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, I got to say something to that because you and folks like you are what really make this industry unique. It's unlike any other industry that I've been involved with when in terms of lobbying and trying to change the minds of state legislators and federal members of Congress and regulators because you know there's the passion that this product actually creates is special and it's real, and that's the one thing I think that when we convey those messages to the decision makers, they start to understand it better and they start to see it for what it is, and that is um, almost, we're not quite there yet, but almost a movement, where this isn't just about jobs, even though that's a huge part of it. This isn't just about business. This is about changing people's lives
Yep.
Absolutely.
and the passion that comes from that. One of the best stories, I shouldn't say stories, one of the best pieces of testimony I've heard was a guy named Frank Hall in Ohio.
I know Frank.
Frank got up and testified for the House Finance Committee. I was there to testify also. We were testifying against the 69% vapor tax that was proposed in the House budget. And he told the story of basically how he was given a death sentence by his doctor, how he made the switch, how it changed his life. And I'm just giving you the nutshell. It was much more meaningful, and how it changed his life and saved his life. And then all of a sudden, his relationships with his family, he was there, with, I mean, it changed everything. And then he started a business, for God's sakes. And then he has 7 businesses because of this one product. I mean, that's the ultimate story. And it's compelling. You should have seen the members of that committee. Just they were riveted. I was riveted. So that's the passion that we have that the iPhone doesn't have. The any other consumer product does not have. It's special, and we need more time to continue to tell that story. That's why we're trying to make sure that whatever we do from an industry perspective is extend the clock long enough for the science to continue to improve and for our stories to continue to be told, because they have an impact. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, absolutely. Every story has an impact, and I know a lot of you guys in the chat room know there is a young lady, a couple of young ladies over in our VOV group. They have a link to their page where you can go and post a video of your story. They encourage it. They want everybody to share their story so they can share those with our representatives and everything. Because I'm going to tell you what, I'm one of them people. I love to read. I really do. I mean, I'm surrounded by books. Um, but sometimes you just get more riveted watching somebody's face when they tell their story, and it impacts you so much more. So if you haven't done it yet, and I'll admit I'm one of those, I haven't done it yet. Actually, I'll probably be posting mine on um, my YouTube channel here before long, once I get a new webcam and get some shit straightened out there, because this one sucks. Um, because I'm one of them people, I want people to know what I went through, why I quit, and why I do what I do.
Yep. There's and Frank is not unique. That's the amazing thing about this industry. More and more people like you guys have stories to tell that um, are incredibly powerful. So getting those stories out, that's absolutely critical to, I think. That's how we change. That's how you really change hearts, right? Changing minds is one thing. Changing hearts, I think, is done. And CASA does, I think, a real good job of that. They spend a lot of time, a lot of energy making sure that the consumer side of the story is told and told extremely well.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the fact that we are organic, and this isn't an astroturf movement. It is completely organic. There's nothing rehearsed. It is all from the heart, and it's all real. That makes it very hard to deny. Sure, we have ants doing their work in many cities and counties in every state. But the fact of the matter is, we're not going to be denied, and we've got the truth behind us. And I've always said that, Tony and Rod.
Yeah.
You can't deny the truth forever. Eventually, the truth wins. And yeah, it's going to take a lot of political pushing and maneuvering, but in the end, if we come face to face with the facts on the table, we're going to win because we already have enough evidence. We have enough data and science behind us, along with the organic nationwide movement that we could win this. And I think FDA knows it, and I think they're sensing that there's a force to be reckoned with here. And we're just getting the ball rolling as far as political action compared to some industries, right, Tony?
Yeah, we are new. I mean, there's no doubt about that, and and we're building, and we've really had a concerted effort, especially over the last year, in Congress, with a concerted message, with a consistent message that's a professional message, and I think that is having an impact. There's no doubt about that, and the more that we push. And the more time that we have to make our case, the stronger it's going to get. I truly believe the science continues to evolve in the direction that we need it to evolve. Right? It's not a matter. I'm convinced enough. If I was a policymaker, I would be convinced enough to make some decisions that are meaningful. But for those that are still skeptics, more time will equal more and more better science and they won't be able to ignore it.
Right.
We still have to deal with the politics though, because we've seen in other types of areas that regardless of what science does say, and no matter how clear one side may think it is, there are always going to be deniers and detractors, and that's just pure politics. So we've got to play the political game as well, if not better, than the opposition. In addition to, making sure that the actual information, the meaningful information, is there to back us up.
Absolutely. You know what? Now, I don't know how much you knew about it, but tell us what you know about what went down in Indiana.
Well, I know a lot about that.
Okay.
So last summer, we were looking at kind of really starting to expand the work that we were doing in the States. When we launched VTA, one of the things, if you were there at the very first meeting that we had, you would have heard me talk about the three things that we were going to do, which is federal lobbying, state lobbying, and public affairs, professional jobs at all three of those. Because I think that you can't be effective as a national industry association unless you do all of those three things, and you do them very well. So on the state side, we looked at what happened in Indiana, And we thought that is just, I mean, that was just a travesty. That was a special interest lobbyist inside deal to set up a monopoly. And so we worked with Amy Lane. She wanted to set up her Indiana Smoke Free Alliance. We helped her with that. Amy and I have been friends for some time, and she, you know, gave us the call and said, I want to work with VTA. We said absolutely, we'd love to work with you. And so we helped them put together basically the strategy and the bill, and they found a really good lobbying team in Indiana, and the plan was to make this the Senate's number one priority, and that's in fact what we did. So the bill got filed as Senate Bill 1. And the significance of that is when they file bills at the beginning of a legislature, they give their top priority bills the low numbers, like anything else. And so the fact that the Senate leadership had given the team the green light to do that was significant. And it was great. I went down there and testified. Amy testified. There were a number of other people that testified in the Senate. The bill came out of the Senate 49-1, which was great. The House then made a bunch of changes to the bill. And the House is where the whole mess started, just so you know, the original law that was such a mess. So they were going to have to do something to the bill to change it up. And then what happened then is they passed their version, and then we went to a conference committee. And in that conference committee, that's when you hammer it out. Both sides just literally hammer it out. And we got everything stripped out of there that we wanted to, all the bad stuff. So what eventually passed is Senate, now it's called Senate Enrolled Act number 1, was a bill that eliminated all the security requirements, eliminated all the BS requirements on out-of-state companies, leveled the playing field. They tried to put in an online sales ban. We got that stripped out. We limited and took away the department's ability to issue rules. So no more can the ATC there issue a bunch of ridiculous rules in terms of how they're going to test liquids and stuff like that. And part of that was having to explain that the whole thing was set up based upon a fiction. Really, the fiction was that there's a problem with tainted e-liquids out there. And I told him point blank, I said, there has never been a case that I am aware of where somehow during the manufacturing process, somebody intentionally tainted an e-liquid. We don't need security cameras to prevent this kind of stuff from happening. And so at the end of the day, we have a much more rational bill, and the state of Indiana is now open for business. If you're, which is actually really, really exciting. That was a huge turnaround, and we did that in one session.
Oh, absolutely. Because I know, and I didn't know if you knew it at the time when I sent you that email because I missed the webinar. I got my times mixed up. But I am, as of middle of January, I took over running Trippy Drip Shop for them.
Awesome.
So, anytime you email them guys, chances are you're going to get an email back from me.
Excellent.
So hopefully that will also mean that I will get to start partaking in some of these meetings that everybody gets to go to, like Stacy and Dirk. That's why I haven't been into any of them because before January, I was just a vapor. While I may be an advocate, I had no ties to a company.
Right.
So, I didn't want to push my luck and try attending one of the meetings knowing that technically I wasn't supposed to be there.
I'm sure you will definitely be welcome. That's for sure. So congratulations on that.
And Dirk, don't give the new gal in the lab get your juice out so quick it ain't even funny.
So let me tell you real quickly, because I actually have to be somewhere shortly.
Okay.
But I did want to fill you in on what else is going on, because I know there's a lot of stuff, and there was so much focus on the legislative strategy with Cole Bishop. So on that, HR 1136 is still a bill. It's still in Congress. It's been assigned to the Energy and Commerce Committee. And to the extent that people are talking to their members of Congress, they should be encouraging them to sign on to that bill. The more people we get to add their name as a co-sponsor, the more we build up a public record of supporters for rational vapor regulation. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is, before the Cole Bishop result was known to everybody, we had already started to implement our administration strategy. Obviously, when Trump came in, we knew that there was going to be a new look or a new approach to regulation. He's made that very, very clear. So we ended up, but the problem is that people weren't in place until recently, as far as those decision makers that we would need to be engaging with. So let's see, 3 weeks ago now, we had what I believe is the industry's first meeting with at the Department of Health and Human Services, and we met with Secretary Price's chief of staff, as well as one of their top healthcare and policy people who knows our issues very well. So that was a great opportunity where we made the case for a 2-year delay of all of the regulation deadlines, so that we could then approach with the FDA kind of how this new regulation scheme should be set out so that it's fair and real for vapor companies. And we made also the case of not just for manufacturers, but for small businesses. And one of the things that I made very clear to them was the fact that you have this real passionate base of consumers that support an incredible network of almost 10,000 vape shops in the United States that act as real business communities, and that those shops employ tens of thousands of people, real Americans with real jobs, with real wages, supporting their families. And they're in all 50 states and in every corner of every state, and that the uncertainty is really impacting the businesses at the retail level, because you guys don't know if you're going to sign a new 3-year lease, because you don't know if the industry is going to be around in 2 years. So I don't know how you make those decisions. In the same way that a manufacturer isn't sure how it's going to spend, whether it can spend $3, $4, $5, $6, $7 million or more to start studies for PMTA, when they don't even know if those studies are going to be actually accepted by the FDA, or if they file their application, if the FDA is actually going to approve it. Right. So we gave them the whole picture, and they were very responsive. And so that was a very important meeting that we had. But even more exciting than that was we had the first meeting at the White House. This would be 2 Fridays ago, not last Friday, but the one right before. And that was I would say it was even a better meeting. And in this sense, the folks that we met with were high level, and they understood the issue. And so instead of kind of giving them the whole overview, we really got down to brass tacks in terms of what the industry really needs, what that means in terms of what timing, why the 3-month delay, for example, that they had just been passed the prior Monday, why that wasn't going to do really much for businesses, either at the retail level or at the manufacturing level. And we really got into a real significant discussion, which I was very encouraged by. So that's exciting. So I want people to know that we are continuing to push forward really affirmatively on both prongs of the strategies that we've always been telling folks that we're going to do, which is both at the administration within the administration as well as in Congress.
Good deal.
I think so.
Let's see. Okay. Slimer is asking, how do we go about making our voice heard when the responses we get back are the same scripted copy and paste letter?
So that scripted copy and paste letter is you're right, it is scripted. It's the standard response that they give for a bill that's not going before committee. And they can just say, look, if it comes to the floor for a vote, that's the only time that I have to actually deal with it. And so the only thing you can do is really press, and that's where asking them to do something affirmative, like sign on to 1136, right, is how you know whether or not they're actually going to be supportive. And so oftentimes kind of a written request that goes in, we'll get that type of written request back. But that's why we got to do follow-up. You know, there's no two ways about it. You got to do follow-up.
Get airtime. Where'd Rod go?
You got the empty chair. It must have been, I hope it wasn't something I said.
I don't know. Maybe he's got a narrow urethra.
Hey. No, my wife is afraid of the dark, and I had to go turn on the light in the other room for her. Because you know she won't come into a dark home if the living room light isn't on. She will sit out in her car and text me to come turn the light on before she comes into the house. And that's not a joke.
Oh, that's funny.
So, all right, Tony, I don't know how soon you got to leave. I know you said you got to be somewhere.
You flying out on a red eye, Tony?
No, I actually promised my wife I would take her somewhere tonight, since we don't get to spend much time together, and it's 10 o'clock. So I think she thought that we were leaving at 9 o'clock, and then I reminded her of I had to do this show, which apparently wasn't a reminder. Apparently I hadn't told her in the first place. So.
Well, Tony, I appreciate you coming on, and tell your wife thank you for allowing you to come on there. We really appreciate that of her. Happy Mother's Day to all of us, to her.
Amen. Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me on, and I'm happy to come back. I mean, there's going to be a lot more exciting stuff to talk about, but I am encouraged by the responses that we're getting from this administration. We are following up with them with some really important information, answering all the questions that they had, and I'm real pleased with our lobbying team, who's been able to set those things up so quickly now that the right people are in place. And that's two important meetings. We've got meeting 3 being scheduled right now, and meeting 4 we have targeted already. So I'm hoping, because I'm optimistic, and well, hell, we're just going to keep banging on the door. But we're making a case, a very strong case, that this has to happen, and it has to happen now. So we just want people to know that we are pushing every button that there is to push to get this done.
Now Slimer's in trouble. He forgot it's Mother's Day Sunday.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Well, that's one more benefit of being on the show.
Yeah, he now remembered it's Mother's Day, so he hopefully won't get in trouble. But again, Tony, thank you. Like I said, tell your wife we said we appreciate it greatly for letting you come on the show, even though you forgot to remind her. And anytime something pops up, shoot me a message on Facebook,
You
You know
bet.
where to email me at. Either place, my email or through Trippy Drips, either one.
Sounds perfect.
Give me a shout. We'll get you on. We can do Thursday nights. Chupa in the chat room is we're co-hosts on Monday night. So Saturday night, I'm sure TJ would be happy to have you on. We can get you on just about any night of the week.
All right, sounds great. Thanks everybody, and thanks Rod for having me on. Kevin, good chatting with you again.
Likewise, Tony.
And if anybody ever has any questions for us, just let me know.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
And see you guys.
Thanks.
See you
Have a good
tomorrow.
evening, Tony.
Amazing results from VTA. I can't say enough good about them, and you guys know I'm 100% backing VTA first and foremost. So I think when they came onto the scene, everybody's like, oh, here comes another association or a national group. And there was some mudslinging, but I think they've proven over time, and I knew they would, that they are setting the standard for what you should do to lobby for vaping and for all the smokers to have this industry available to them down the road. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Have you guys been keeping track of the TMA 17 that's going on yesterday, today, and tomorrow?
I think I have missed any information on that one.
So the TMA is what they do is they bring in people from all over the place. And today they had Mitch Zeller in there, and they speak and they take questions from the attendees. And one of the beautiful things that happened today is we had yesterday they had Matt Myers from Campaign for Tobacco Free Kids, and they cornered him with some really good questions, and he came out looking just like he is, which is somebody who's not telling the truth or the whole truth about what vaping is. So he was, his untruth was spotlighted yesterday. Today they cornered Mitch Zeller, and Mitch Zeller was nearly ready to run off the stage trying to get away from the questions.
He always does that, though.
Well, he's, I don't know how much impact he has on the policy. I think he's more of a front man than anything else. And he gets, he's ducking shoes flying across the stage sometimes, I think. And I don't have any mercy for him, because while all this is happening, more people are continuing to smoke and die and get sick. So there's no excuse for it. It's a travesty. It's a big fat lie. We all know this.
Absolutely.
But if you guys are on Twitter, find Jeff Steers, Stier. Find Jeff Steers' account and follow him, because he's posting up-to-date, posts about what's happening and who's speaking and what they're saying and what questions are being asked. I wasn't able to find a live feed, but I can put the TMA.org in the chat room for everybody to check out the site.
Yeah, see if you can do that. I don't know if you'll be Vape TV's still wonky about posting links. I showed up for me. I don't know if it did for everybody or not.
I just asterisk, but hopefully you guys can see that. That's the site. That's what's happening yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Now, Hubu asked me specifically last night if I was going to be grumpy tonight. I haven't been yet. But, Hubu, I got something just for you, dude. I don't know how many of you people saw it. There was a big deal. It blew up. I saw it first in the St. Louis Vapers group, STL Vapers. Supposedly a shop owner gave an interview to media, and the whole deal had to do with dripping is extremely dangerous. Now, when I first saw the video, I got really pissed off because a shop owner sitting there, telling people, oh, yeah, they started vaping and nicotine is, highly dangerous. You can get poisoned from it. Um, all this crap. Well, then when you start looking at the video, look at the devices that are in the video. This was not a recent video. The interview part of it wasn't anyway. Because, I mean, Kevin, you and Dirk and Stacy, how many people do you have come in your shops that still use the light up iClear 16s? Or iGo W RDAs? Or Patriot RDAs with the pinhole damn holes in it?
I was just thinking about that this morning when I was taking a crap, how I used to have to drill out my RDAs.
Now, see, here's the thing. With that video, that's what the people were in there using. That's what the owner of the shop was using. He was dripping on, I can't remember if it was an iGo W or a Patriot, but, it was something of that nature. And then I commented on it in a couple different places because I seen it posted in several places, and I'm just like, holy fuck, people are blowing this shit way out of proportion. First off, the guy did the interview. If you look at the gear he was using in the video and what most of the people were using in his interview was, yeah, Dirk, and he choked on it. It was 2 years or better old. And then they patched it together with some videos of kids 18, 20, I don't know how, nobody gave their ages, of course, but younger people doing vape tricks. And if you bothered to look at the videos, every one of them said some point in 2016. So they're piecing together shit from at least a year ago and as much as 2+ years ago. Now, Stacy, everybody that commented on it, a lot of people have been to the shop and they said he's a dumbass. I'm not going to comment his name because, well, I do know the shop's name, but I'm not going to put it out there because you know me, that ain't how I roll. And, I'm hoping that in the course of the 2 years or however long it's been since he did that video or that interview, that he saw the errors of his ways. And he now knows, this is ridiculous. Hell, I've been dripping for almost 4 years. I think if it was going to kill me, it would have done did it. Because I dripped 18 to 24 milligram Nick juice when I started. So if it was going to done it, it would have already done it. Pretty sure of that. Yeah, okay, Kevin. So here's my deal about this. Stop. Think about what the hell you're doing. And instead of going and blowing this dude up, do some research. Because, Jacob, I'm sitting here watching it, and Jacob goes, oh, shit, are you watching that video again? You know how old that video is? And I'm like, dude, I'm looking at it. I'm like, they're using iGo W's and iClear 16s that light up. That shit's old as hell. And then I started paying more attention to the video, and I'm like, oh, well, that piece says it's from 2016, so that's a year ago. That one says 2016. Some of them didn't have dates that I could see on them because it was just a quick flash. But it does no good to rant and rave and tear somebody down. If you want to do something, go see the man. If he's really that uneducated, educate his ass. If he's just in it for the money, ain't nothing you can say gonna fix it. If he's just in it for the money, turn around and walk out. Tell everybody don't go there. At that point, yeah, put him on blast. Um, that's pretty much my major rant. Is it I hate seeing people jump the bandwagon and don't even read the article. They don't watch the video. They don't do any research. It's, oh my God, dripping's going to kill you. Now I got to fucking raise hell. Make sure it's exactly what they're putting out first. And yeah, he did say some stupid shit. But like I said, hopefully he's still in business. So hopefully he's learned from his mistakes, and he's made a better shop. I don't know. But oh yeah, Stacy. I mean, let's see. First I saw an SDL Vapors, then I saw Dimitri posted it, then I saw it in another local group. I think I saw it in one or two more groups, and I'm just like, fuck me running backwards up a tree. This don't help nothing.
Yeah, we're all very sensitive right now, and we realize there's enough bullshit going on that we have to battle without having our own industry shoot itself in the foot. But that doesn't mean we attack the guy, because we don't know the exact circumstances that went on. It's just like we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Everybody's so quick to make their judgment of why somebody's doing something, or some of the labeling is blatant copyright infringement, and it's damaging our industry. There are others that are on the fence, and it's really just somebody that isn't involved like we are. They're not tuned into Facebook. They're not in the vaping community as we know it. That's a very small percentage of us that are in the know and on top of this stuff all the time. So keep that in mind.
Oh, absolutely.
And chances are that news clip, that interview, was particularly old, and maybe the guy wasn't the smartest about what he did on the video. But it's at the end of the day, we got to try to support each other and tell shops like that, hey man, if you need help with doing the right thing and some more information, check out this association or this organization, and get on top of things, because they're looking at shops and they're looking at mistakes we're trying to make. They're waiting for us to trip so they can pounce on it and use it as an example. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Absolutely. Now, and something else that I've been struggling with lately. Kevin, do you guys sell spinners in your shop?
Spinners?
Yeah, fidget spinners.
Sold out. Sold out.
Listen
You
to
have
this.
one, Rod? Really? There's nothing wrong with spinners.
No, and here the reason I brought it up is because in the area, I was probably the first one to bring them into one of the local shops. The only problem is, I sold a shitload of them. We actually just placed an order for a new shipment. We haven't had any in 3 weeks because I didn't want to carry them. We had so many kids bringing their parents in to buy them these spinners, because if they were coming in alone, I'm like, you got to go. You ain't 18, you can't be in here. You know, at least I got a big sign up on the door that says, you know, if you're under 18, you must have a parent or a guardian. Um, but I mean, I was having kids, well, I was having adults bring in 5 and 6 kids at a time. And it started to bother me because I'm like, man, I got all these kids coming in here. This doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Well, then I had a teacher come in and asked why she wanted to come in to see why a business like ours was drawing children into our shop. And I stopped her right there.
Uh-oh.
And I said, you know, you came in that door, right? Because we only got one door that she can come into the shop in. She said, yes. I said, you saw the sign on the door, didn't you? I said, the sign explicitly says, if you're under 18, you must have a parent or a minor, or a parent or guardian. I said, I don't want your kids in here. As a matter of fact, if a child comes in here to get a spinner with his parent must pay for it. I will not take a dime from a young person. Not one. So at that point, you know, we ran out at the end of that day, and I, you know, me and Travis talked about it, and we agreed we were going to quit carrying them. But now we've had so many adults coming in wanting to, you know, get spinners and stuff that we just placed an order that we should have tomorrow. So we are going to bring spinners back, but it's going to be the same thing. If your child comes into my shop without an adult with them, you ain't getting nothing. And it's, you know, it I got, was it Monday? I had a parent come in with their child, 17-year-old son, handed me a I think it was an alien kit. You know, the alien with the baby beast on top. She leaned against the counter. She said, I need a coil. I said, okay. What coil do you need? What ohm? You know, which one do you want? They make several of them. I don't know. I'm clueless. So, okay. So I happened to look over at the young man standing with her, and I looked at her and I said, okay, is this for you or is this for him? And she's like, it's for him. I'm his mother. He's 17 years old. Heavy sigh. I looked at her and I said, ma'am, I can't sell you that coil. She was, but I'm his mother and he's 17. I said, well, let me put it to you like this. I said, not to be an asshole, so I'm not trying to be an asshole to you. I said, but Illinois state law says I can't sell you anything. Illinois state law says he can't own any vape product. I said, if I were to sell you that coil knowing that he is 17 years old, I'm going to get a $2,500 fine. My employers are going to get a $2,500 fine. And there's a good chance I'm going to jail. And I'm not going to attempt that. And I said, now I'm going to tell you what. I said, there's one other shop in town that you can try. I said, but I can guarantee you no shop is going to sell you a coil him being 17. They're just not going to do it. And I said, let me explain something else to you that you may not be aware of. In the state of Illinois, you can be fined for him owning a vape product. And she looked at me, and she looked at him, and I thought, she was going to beat him stupid. I said, yes, if a cop, and she looked at me, she's like, are you serious? I said, yes, if a cop wants to be a complete ass about it, he will fine you for him owning a vape product because he's under the age of 18. I haven't seen her since because I really expected her to come back without him the next day and try to pick up a coil for him. I don't know if she went to one of the other shops in town and didn't take him in and got his coil or not. I'm hoping she took it from him and said, you're shit out of luck because I'm not getting fines because you're 17 and can't decide you don't want to smoke. So, yeah, I was a little hot over that one Monday. That just kind of set off my whole day because that was pretty early in the day.
We had a similar thing happen, Rob. Uh, the inspector sent in a 17-year-old to buy vape products. And after we turned him away, they wrote a report and mailed it to us. And I get the reports because I'm compliance director. And I start reading and I'm like, oh shit. And I get to the second paragraph and it says, you turned away a customer who was under the age of 18 and you are compliant and we thank you. So if you're owning shops, you better be on guard because they are sending out minors. They're paying minors. And that's part of their budget to do so. Pay minors to go in and try to buy from shops.
Oh, yeah, they do it around us too.
But everybody should know that by now. Everybody should be carding anybody that looks under 27. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, I tell you what, it's funny because now since I've started working out, and I know the guys did it before, but I have noticed that the people that look young, they walk in the door with their IDs in their hand 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Here you go. I know you need it. And, there's a lot of times I can look at them and go, okay, I know you've been in here before. I've carded you myself. I know you're 18. But most of the time, I'll take that ID and I double check it anyway. But, yeah, yeah, I'm with you, Dirk. And I told the lady, I said, if I had my choice, I would much rather a young person vape than smoke.
Yeah.
But with the law in place that's there right now, they can't. And I'm not going to risk other people that work in my shop. I'm not going to risk their jobs. I'm not going to risk my job. I'm not going to risk Travis and Rourke's business.
Not only that, but the whole country can see when you fail because they post them up on FDA site.
Yeah. It's not worth it at all to me to make sure a young person can vape over smoke. No matter what I personally believe, the law takes precedence.
Well, and you see them pushing this tobacco 21 everywhere right now.
Yeah,
and it's silly because they're claiming a 12 to 15% drop in smoking rates. But what they're gauging that on is the amount that's bought. So they have no idea what the smoking rate drop is.
Right.
They're going on retail sales dropping that much. That's a demographic they're counting as they're no longer smoking, which is completely false. We all know, I think everybody in here that vapes used to smoke, and I think everybody that smoked got their cigarettes well before the age of 18.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's an absolutely pointless tactic of the ants, but it's working. For some reason, they're convincing with these fake numbers that it's helping communities, and it's not, because I got my first pack of cigarettes at 13.
I got mine between 10 and 11.
Yeah, so it happens far before 18, and to move it up to 21 and claim that it's stopping smoking, you know what they're doing is they're making up these numbers and using the correlation from the drop in smokers that vaping caused to validate their tactic, and it's completely bullshit. I'm gonna have to get off here soon, Rod, but you guys, I wanted to drop a couple things on you. Try to stay in tune with what's going on with the TMA. Make sure that you are still talking to those smokers. Our business plan should be designed around attracting smokers. And on that point, I've got a little project I've been working on. I'm going to post it up here real quick, if you don't mind, Rod.
No, go ahead.
I just launched the first USA and Canadian quit line that uses vaping as a cessation tool. And yes, I'm not afraid to say it helps you quit smoking, because it does. I'm able to do that because I am an educational 501c3, which is tax deductible. I will have a donation kickoff starting tomorrow, hopefully. And our 1-800-THR Vape is our toll-free line that will be available next week. I will have FAQs available for my volunteer call centers. And I think this is going to be a great thing. And down the road, once we've got some data and some numbers, and we've helped enough people quit, and we get enough testimony on the website, I think we're going to apply for some of that federal grant money that these other quit lines ask for and get funded with. And if they don't fund us, there will be legal cause for me to take it to court. And at that point, that will give us a venue to put the facts on the table about vaping and why the other organizations have not been promoting it as a way to benefit public health. So I think it has a lot of uses. One, it gives a lot of people a way to contact to get information on vaping, correct information. And we'll mail out pamphlets. And I think the best part of it is when a caller calls in, we ask them what their zip code is. We get all their information. We go into a database of shops that support our organization, i.e. Dirk and Stacy type of shop. So if somebody calls in your zip code, I refer them to your shop to come in and get started with a kit. So we don't sell anything. We're giving them information, and then we're referring them to vape shops that we vet and make sure that they're doing the right thing by customers and especially smokers, and sending them out to you. So watch for that, you guys, and hopefully I get as many shops supporting this as I can. I hope to have many thousands of shops on the site. There's nothing on the site right now except a homepage, but that's going to be changing pretty quick. Probably by the end of the weekend, that'll be changing over. So I've got that in play. And then also, Rod, I've been working with some individuals, and we're developing a retreat type training for advocates, so that when you are in the situation with a hearing where you've got the ants and they're saying it's marketing to children, we've got verbatim responses, and in this training you will know how to respond to those at a hearing where you're trying to put out a fire and come out on top and win every time. So I think these are important steps we need to take. I think these are two categories that are missing from the advocacy community. The 800 with the informational site, and then as advocates knowing how to beat those ants without being frustrated and just throwing a bunch of data up, and it makes no sense. So when they say, we've got to save the children, for instance, you get up there and you say, we are saving the children, we care about kids too. We're with you on that. We totally want to help you save the children. And then you go into your, parents are smokers, and part of saving the children is breaking that generational cycle.
Right.
And as soon as you do that, you snap their 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 canned response. They don't have responses. We know how to break what they're doing because it's all a dialogue. They don't know how to work around somebody who knows their dialogue already. So that's something that's coming up. We're trying to put it together very quickly because these ants are going to every city and every town, and they're planting that seed, and they're getting these councils and these state legislators on their side. And that's why you see this stuff popping up so much. We've got to be able to stamp those ants to death in their tracks. And what's even better is we've developed a program where if the ants have not influenced them and it's not a hearing where you're trying to put out the fire and save the city from anti-vaping laws, you can go in and go through this 2-page document and you can get them on your side by the end of an hour workshop with them. So you're doing the exact opposite of what ants are doing. You're informing them with facts and getting them on the vaping side before the ants show up. So I think these are all good things. That's what I'm working on lately. And, hopefully it all has some great successes. And watch for the THR for Life coming up. I'm trying to put that everywhere I can. So if you guys want to share the site or go on Facebook and like the page and share it, please do.
Yeah, I'm gonna send some more local shops your way to get involved with that as well.
I appreciate that, and you know what? The smokers that are out there will appreciate it because the more shops we have, the more opportunity we have to send them into your shops and get going vaping instead of smoking.
Yeah, and this weekend I'll try to work on that that document I posted a couple weeks ago about the vape terminology and stuff.
Yeah, and I'm going to use a lot of that because a lot of people don't know. They're completely outside of what we do, and it's important that they understand what an atomizer and a mod and battery safety and what e-liquid's made out of. Those are all very basic questions we overlook that somebody new will definitely ask. So that's very important to have an info page on
Yeah,
terminal.
I'll try to get that reworked up this weekend, add to it. That way you guys will have it. And then if somebody thinks of something else we can add to it, it shouldn't be a big deal to add more.
Right. So, Rod, thanks for having me on. I think some great things are happening. We're starting, like Tony said, we're starting to speed things up, and we're getting smarter, and we're becoming more effective in the fight to make sure that vaping survives. And I think we all know what our roles are in that war. What you got to do, whether you're a general or you're a grunt, we've all got a job to do. So.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, Kevin, I really appreciate you coming on, man. Really, I enjoyed having you come on. Well, I knew you wouldn't want to miss this one with Tony.
Yeah, and it's good to see you guys all in here still. Invite some more people in to hear what Rod has to say. I mean, he's got some good information. He's got the right point of view on this, and you guys know it. Bring some more people in, man, and that's what it's all about. We've got to expand this. We've got to spread the truth. So, anyways, you guys take care. Stay in touch, and I'm going to see if Stacy's German or not before I sign off here. Let's see, real quick. Oh, she's British. Oh, tea and crumpets.
Oh, no.
Scandinavian.
Fish and chips. Cheerio.
Ireland. Greek.
Pip, pip.
She's less than 1% Jewish. Well, you're 100% European. That's kind of cool. What was that, $150, Stacy? I think it's about 150. Yeah. I don't know if I want to know what I am. I already tattooed my race on my heritage on my arm, so if that's wrong, that'd be a bad thing.
Yeah. I know mine. Mine would just say cracker.
That's pretty much what Stacy says. 100% cracker right there.
All right, buddy. Well, I don't want you to get in trouble with Diane. I know she probably asleep, ain't she?
No, she's probably on her phone on Facebook right now. So, all right, you guys, I'm out. Take care, everybody.
You too, buddy. Give me a shout anytime something comes up. You got something to say? You're always welcome. Um, if you need another person that's got a face for radio ever, I'm your Huckleberry.
All right. As soon as I can figure out how to broadcast my own show, I'll have you on. Amy Lane's been broadcasting, so.
Oh shit!
Anyways,
Okay.
I'll fill you in on some other news after I get off here, Rod, and I'll see you guys next time.
All right, brother.
All right, take care, you guys.
You have a good evening. All right, let me get mine fixed up here real quick. I have drank too much damn tea tonight. What the hell? Oh, come on. There we go. Oh, that's why. I know you guys wanted to see the top of my head, didn't you? Why are you telling me to fuck off, Slimer? What'd I do? There we go. And no, I am not peeing in a bottle. I'm gonna go pee in the bathroom. I'll be right back. Mr. Clean, bite my ass. Ain't nobody needs to buy me a damn toupee. Oh, shut up, Slimer. Hey, Dirk, I don't know if you guys have seen it. You see my new cup? I know it's backwards for some goddamn reason, but I did wash my hands. Shut up. Won't you come scrub my butt, asshat? All right. It's 22. We get about 5 more minutes. I have a CNA for that. It's called my wife. And yes, TJ, that is from that last picture you sent me, brother. It turned out beautifully. I got it. Where did I get it? Tuesday. I think it came in Tuesday, and I promptly drank like 70 ounces of tea out of it when I got home in like 2.5 hours. $6 or bust. No, I emptied this thing out twice. It's a 40-ounce cup. I filled it up almost all the way full both times. And 2.5 hours, I emptied it twice. Actually, maybe it came in Monday. I don't remember. Did I have it on the show Monday, Chupa? I don't remember. Okay, it came in Monday. Yeah, Stacy, I'm about out of here myself. I'm gonna hit the bed early tonight. I ain't feeling too great, but I promised you something special, so I was gonna make sure, come hell or high water, it was on tonight. So, you guys have a great rest of the evening. I will let you guys know what's coming up next weekend or next Thursday. Okay, Dirk. It ain't that, Stacy. I think it was pizza I ate last night. Just threw me off. Plus, it was cold as hell in the shop today. I was freezing. So, you guys have a great evening. I will see you Monday. And again on Thursday. Maybe Saturday. Who knows? So, take care, you guys. If you know anybody that wants to watch it, I'm going to be posting it up on YouTube here soon. So, yeah, share it. A lot of information there from Tony and Kevin both. So, yeah, keep an eye out for it. The link to my YouTube page is in the Grumpy Vapors group. So, go in there, hit it up, and I'll probably post a link to it just so people can get right there to it. But it will be there. So, you guys, again, have a great evening. We will see you next time.